So that's the ROLEX theory. I hope that that is useful to you and that you can start applying this when it comes to not only your work time management, but also your personal time management. Now I want to touch on saying no and setting boundaries, because much of our time, we've got really good intentions. We are really good at planning. We're really good at preparation. We know what our priorities are, but the day happens. And then our priorities go out the window because we're trying to fit in with somebody else's agenda. Now that agenda is great if it's your manager who you are directly responsible for. But this starts going into a gray area when it's your team members that you are not responsible for supporting. Okay, so it's so easy to say, set good boundaries. But if you're a people pleaser like me, you know that it's a huge, huge struggle. So I'm going to give you some tips that I've picked up in the last 20 years of how to say no and how to set better boundaries. If you're saying yes to everybody, don't be fooled. Somebody's getting a no. The example I like to use is you are saying yes to the team all day, you're picking up these little bits and bobs, all these little favors, which means at the end of the day, you haven't achieved what you were supposed to do. So you take that home. You now do work stuff at home instead of spending time with your family or working on your own personal development or going for that walk that you said you would go on. Somebody's getting a no, and often it's the people closest to you, or that no is the one you're giving yourself. So always keep that in the back of your mind. Another tip I want to give you is practice saying no. Practice saying no on the small things, because we all know what it's like. If you are used to saying yes, the yes comes out of your mouth. In your head, you are screaming, no, no, no. When your mouth opens, you say, yes, sure, no problem. Practice the no. Practice the no on small, inconsequential things so that when you've got that big ask, the no comes more naturally. When you're in a new position, don't spoil them from day one. Keep your boundaries tight. Once they get to know you, you can move the boundaries out. But you all know that what you do today as a favor becomes part of your job description tomorrow. So start with tighter boundaries at the beginning. We've got to start pushing back on favors, because often if you look at the favors you did this week, those people, if you're in real trouble, who can you call and who will help you with a favor? Often the answer is, Anel, I've got nobody who will back me up. So we've got to be selective about these favors that we're doing. And by doing these favors and doing bits and pieces of their jobs, you are actually often enabling bad behavior and poor performance. You often say, oh, I don't trust Anel, so I'll just do it myself. But I'm getting a salary to do that portion of the job. And by you working around me, it increases your workload, but it's also putting me in the cushy position that I don't actually need to work for a living. So we've got to think about the company and team culture impact of enabling people's bad behavior. We are often working way beyond our paid hours. Now, while I was with my last corporate company, at the worst, I was working between 11 and 13 hours a day. I got to a point where my husband said to me, do you still want to be married? And it was the most devastating moment of my life when he asked me that, because he said, you're always tired, you're always stressed, you are never home, and when you are home, you're not happy. Please, no job is worth that. We've got to start treating ourselves as the CEO of our own company. A plumber does not come to your house and work for free. We've got to start setting good boundaries. I'm not at all advocating that you don't support them when there's a crisis, but working after hours or working on the weekends, if you're not paid to do so, shouldn't become your lifestyle. Putting yourself last on a regular basis. I'm guilty of it. While my husband and I were both still in corporate, I would make him a lunchbox, and I didn't make myself a lunchbox. You know, it's simple things like that, where I would give more care to him than I would to myself on a regular basis. And it doesn't serve you in the long term. So please make yourself a priority. I mentioned right at the beginning that if you don't feature somewhere on your to-do list, you need to fix that.